Hey everybody, this is S. Anthony Thomas. This is the S. Anthony Thomas Show. Look, I know the title of the show is weird. I can't explain it here. All I can say is it's weird, I'm weird, you're weird, and it's fun. So let's cut all the stuff, all the crap, all the wasted time, and let's get to the show. You ready? Of course you are. Let's do it. Hey everybody, how are you doing? This is S. Anthony Thomas. This is the S. Anthony Thomas Show. This episode is entitled Just the Tip. It's not what you think. Stop being dirty. Let's get to it. Now let me ask you a question. Now, as we all sit home, not being able to do the things we normally would do because of you know what, right? Money becomes a problem. And money becomes a problem sometimes even when we don't have a pandemic. But I was sitting back and I was thinking about back in the day when I was doing stand-up as a young man, 17, 18 years old. And even now, as a 52-year-old, I tip when I go places. You know, if I go someplace and there's a tip, that's easy. Like if I went to a place today, if the guy had the tip jar, but that guy had the tip jar behind some plexiglass that was protecting him from the customers. And I would have, if the glass jar was where I could just throw a couple bucks in, I would have done it. But it was literally physically impossible for me to give this guy tips because he was behind glass to prevent people who were customers from reaching across and pimp slapping him. But I would tip if given the opportunity to. I believe in tipping. I do it all the time. Like I said, I'm a comedian and a podcaster, and you know, when you're a comedian, especially I've been a comedian my entire adult life because I started doing it at 17, my entire adult life plus a year actually. You work around bar staff, waitresses, and places like that. And as you know, waitresses and waiters and people behind bars don't exactly roll in the dough when it comes to their salary. They make their money in tips. That's how they pay their salary. Tips, because the hourly rate they get paid is complete garbage, which is why when you don't tip a waitress or a waiter or a person behind the bar, they may have a smile on their face, but if they had an opportunity to take the sharpest object they had in front of them and jam it through your pinky toe and they wouldn't get arrested for it, oh, they would do it because they're mad at you, because they don't make any money unless you tip them. I know how important it is to get the tips. I've worked with waitresses. I remember doing a show when I was 17 years old. The waitresses were sitting there and they were sitting there kind of dreading whether or not they were going to get tips because the weekend before the audience was probably one of the cheapest group of people I've ever seen in my life, right? They all sat there in a circle looking at $1 on the bar. They all pulled out sharp objects and almost got into a knife fight over the buck because that's how little that audience tipped because they were cheapos. But this audience seemed a little bit different. They were very, very happy. It was a bunch of groups that came in. It wasn't like normally when it was couples come in, maybe a group of 4, but the whole audience is full of individuals and couples and things of that nature. No. These were office party type groups, you know, groups of 10 and 20. Sometimes I think it was a group of 40 there and everybody was having a great time. It was almost like they were having their own Christmas party at the comedy club. Everybody was having a great time. Fantastic, incredible, and great. And then the time for the bill. And the bill started to go out. And there's a drum roll that goes off in the head of every person who works in the service industry when there's the time when you were going to get a tip or not get a tip. Are you going to get a tip or you're not going to get a tip? And I stood in the back because the waitresses were my friends and I know what happened to them the last week and I was hoping it didn't happen again because they came into the club mad. Ooh, at the time I was 17 years old, a young kid. I didn't really curse that much, and under normal circumstances, the waitresses didn't curse that much. But last week wasn't normal circumstances, so this week wasn't a normal circumstance. So when they walked into the place, they were like those mother-jumping, mother-sassafras and Jehoshaphat and sassafras and mother-jumping sassafras and Jehoshaphat. FYI, they didn't say mother jumper or sassafras and Jehoshaphat. Those were stand-ins for the words that they actually use. And I think you get an idea of the words they use. Yes, my ears had a suntan from the burning of the words they were using. It was a sold out crowd. Oh yeah. Like I said, big groups. Oh yeah. They were loving the show. Oh yeah. I was on the stage for a half an hour doing my thing. Standing ovations. How many? 3 of them. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Headliner goes on. Crushes. Oh yeah. Standing ovations. Oh yeah. And now it's time for the bill. The bills. The bills go out now. Are there going to be tips? Are there going to be tips? Are there going to be tips? And I see the first waitress walk back. She's got a big smile on her face. She's got the stack in her right hand with the checks and the money from each person paying the thing. And in the other hand's a nice stack of bread. Oh yeah. Waitress number 2, waitress number 3, waitress number 4, waitress number 5, waitress number 6. They all come back looking happy, happy, happy. Like that Pharrell song, even though that song wouldn't be written for 30 more years. You know what I'm saying? Shut up, punks, back to me. And they're happy. Yay! They got the tip. Oh, they got the tip. And the only difference between last week and this week was just the tip. That was the only thing that was different. Just the tip. And they were happy. They were happy for the whole weekend. Why? Because they made so much money on the first show Friday. They really got tipped good. They made so much money on the first show Friday and the first show Saturday that they made more money on those 2 shows than they make normally for a normal pretty good weekend. So the weekend was set. So when they came in on Saturday, everything that happened on Saturday, essentially, any tips they got on Saturday would just be basically gravy because they already pretty much made what they wanted to make for a weekend if a weekend was pretty good, and they crushed it on Saturday and they crushed it on the second show Saturday. What a weekend. Why? What was the difference? Just the tip. Because when you think about it, when you're in the service industry, the tip is important. The tip is important. So I would say when you go to a place, make sure you tip the people if you can, because the tip is important. I remember there was a place we used to go to called the South Street Diner in Philadelphia. Down there, we were doing comedy. We'd all go there after our gigs. Some of the gigs would be in Delaware, some of the gigs would be in New York, some of the gigs would be in any place within about 100 miles or so. And as comics, since we almost never sleep, we'd always be at that diner. We'd stay there for long periods of time. And sometimes we'd actually meet up someplace and get together and walk to the diner. And at that time of night, there's really not a lot of people in the diner. They keep the diner open just in case. You get 3rd shift, 4th shift people, but when they're not there in between time, you got the waitresses sitting there. There's usually like 1 or 2. There's one cook back there because there's no one to cook for. They're sitting back there. They got the cake and the rotisserie is spinning around, right? You have the faint smell of coffee breath in the place, and we come walking up. Now, it may not seem like a big deal, a bunch of comics walking up, but you didn't get to see my friends. You see, I loved these guys and they loved me. We all loved each other. We were all friends. And because we knew each other, we weren't afraid of each other. Why? Because we knew each other. But if you didn't know us, central casting we looked like a bunch of villains from really bad Cinemax movies from the 80s, right? I had one friend, looks like he was the kind of guy in the biker gang that the other people in the biker gang went, oh no, he's here, everyone hide, right? I had another friend that was so big, huge. Sometimes we thought it was nighttime and we didn't realize it was actually daytime because he blotted out the sun. That's how tall and big this guy was. I had another friend looked like he was a guy that was too evil to be a mob boss's personal lawyer. They were like, you know what? We normally like to have our lawyers be the kind of really, really bad guys, but no, bruh, we can't use you. You're too evil looking. You'd walk into the courtroom and the judge would go, I don't even need to hear anything. His client's guilty. But Your Honor, I'm just here to monitor the court proceedings. I don't even actually have any clients. Yeah. Well, I just want to let you know, the next time you come in with a client, I just want to let you know, you don't even need to say anything. He's guilty, because look at you. That's what that guy was like, right? And I'm the guy with the black kid with the hat on. And you know what that means. Everybody was scared of me anyway. I'm like, dude, I'm just some 17-year-old kid. Yeah. We know, you know what's going on around nowadays. Yeah, I know what's going on. So we're walking into the diner. The diner had big glass windows. And the staff, you could see when somebody was coming up the street. And normally when customers are coming in groups of 10 of us, I didn't even describe the other dudes, but they're just as scary in their own different way. I mean, they were really good dudes, but if you don't know them, they look scary. You know what I'm saying? Except me, was of course my normal, cute, charming self. It's my podcast, shut up. Back to the story. So she's looking out the window and she sees us coming up. And you could see the look of horror on her face. Look at these people, right? Now, when you looked at us from her perspective, and based on the look on her face, she's thinking, not only am I not going to get tipped, but I'm wondering which one of those people is going to viciously beat us, and which one of those is going to hold the door, and which one of those is going to hold the gun and rob us for the $8 we got in the freaking cash register. Bing, bing, bing. The door opens up. I walk in. Oh, cute kid. Okay. Look at the rest of them. Right. You got the guy behind the grill practicing his baseball bat swings just in case. Right. You got the other waitress. She's got her hand in her purse. You can see the outline of a gun in her. And you hear her locking it up, getting ready to get the cap. And right. We walk in, we sit down, they're looking at us, right? We motion for the waitress to come over. She walks over, like that, like, she's in damn near in a kung fu stance, ready to crescent kick one of us in the throat, right? We order some food. She still doesn't trust us. Oh, no, she doesn't. She's probably thinking they're going to order some food. But what difference does it make if they order the food, if they're going to beat us down and rob us anyway? What a bunch of cruel scumbags. They're going to eat this food, then beat us up and rob us. Oh, I don't like them. And as time went on, they started to relax because all they saw was a bunch of guys sitting around a table telling funny stories. They're laughing. We're laughing. We're talking about our gigs. We're talking about our girlfriends, our wives. Just having regular, good old-fashioned conversations. Nothing to be worried about. Definitely nothing to be afraid of. And you can see one of the waitresses, she takes her hand out of her purse. She takes it off of what's obviously a gun. She sits down, right? She sits down. Well, maybe it's a gun. I don't know. But I know her hand was in her purse, okay? And there's no other reason to put your hand in the purse. I mean, what do you want to do? Counting chiclets? Calm down, right? And she sits down. And you know how when somebody sits down next to you, and you know the only reason they're sitting next to you is because they're trying to hear what you're saying, right? They're trying to ascertain your character. They're trying to do that crap, right? And I see her body language melt down. At first she was all tense, and now she realizes she has a table full of people who are scary looking, but they're all professional comedians and nice guys. Oh, and then she smiles and gives a secret thumbs up with her left hand to the other waitress, right? And the other waitress, she melts down. She smiles, right? She looks back at the guy who's back there practicing his kung fu kicks to the nuts and eye gouges and stuff back there. He's practicing chops to the throat, and he's practicing quick draws back there while he's frying eggs. And he looks and he smiles. Oh. They realize we're not scary, but they're probably thinking, okay, they were so relieved that we weren't going to viciously beat them down and rob them. They didn't even think about tipping. They're like, tip, schmip, I just want to live. The whole night goes around, and all of a sudden the waitress is nice to us. The other waitress is nice to us. The cook comes around. Hey, yeah, you like the food? Hey, man, it was great, man. You know, what about the coffee? Oh, yeah, you get free refills. He says, you know what? We're going to order some more stuff. We don't want to just be drinking all your coffee. So we're going to, you know what? Let's all get some cake. How much is the cake? The cake costs blah, blah, blah. Oh, cool. Really? For cake? Like, oh, man, let's all get some cake and some coffee. Oh yeah, we're gonna be here for a while, but we're comedians. We just got off work. Oh great. So we're all sitting there. Now all of a sudden they go from being afraid of us to sitting around shooting the breeze. We find out about the waitress's husband. Nice guy. Works at a this, does a that. Other late waitress. Her husband's at this, he does that, and he works at a this and he works at that. This guy's talking about his wife. My wife's crazy. Ha ha ha. But not in a way where you think his wife's a bad person. You know how people playfully tease their spouses when you know they really love their spouses, that type of crap, right? We're about to get up and go and leave because it's like 5 o'clock in the morning. I had just enough time to get home to not sleep, right? And they look at us and they're like, thanks guys. And you can hear the silent for not killing us. We know what I'm talking about, right? We walk away. But what they didn't realize, we had such a pleasant time. We were going to tip. All my friends tipped. You know, I spent about $15 in food, and I left a $10 tip on my $15. $25 on the table. And my other friends did something similar to that. So by the time everything was gone, they probably got about $10 each of each person. So they wound up getting the cost of the food and another $100. tears. As we walk out, we look back in the window and wave to the people, and their eyes are all big. Whoa, not only did we not get murdered by these weird-looking people, we got $100 in tips. And you can see them counting it and divvying it up and handing it to each other. Wow. Did you see how that happened? They went from thinking we were going to murder them and beat them up and rob them and chop them and kill them and chop them and double kick them and chop them and kill them and rob them and beat them and rob them. They were relieved. Oh. They were happy they were alive. Oh, we were just really nice guys. Oh, and then they saw the tip. It was just the tip. The only thing that was different was the tip. They didn't get tipped like that. I guarantee you no 10 people went into that diner at any point in time and they walked out and they got $100 in tips. I guarantee it didn't happen. No, it didn't. A week goes by. Pretty much the same crew. Maybe it's 8, maybe it's 11. I don't know. But I forgot what it was, more people or less, but it was basically the same crew, looking just as scary as before to the uninitiated. And they see us coming up the street and they're lighting up. They're going, you know what? They gave us $100 last time. That was probably just because it was a pleasant experience. I can't expect that this time. We go through the whole meal. This time everybody's happy to see us. The cook's up there calling us by name. And hey, Jim, Bill, Frank, hey, buddy, I know his name. How's the wife? What you do? She let you come back in the house? I called and told her what you said. All of that crap, right? And they're happy and pleasant. And we walk away. Same thing as last time. Another $100 in tips. Hey! What was the difference in attitude? It was the tip. It was just the tip. Sometimes it's a little tiny thing that we add on to a situation, something that we don't necessarily expect to happen. A little kindness that may not mean that much to us giving the kindness, but it means a whole lot to the person receiving the kindness, right? A tip applies to somebody a waiter or waitress or maybe a cab driver or somebody in the service industry. But if you really think about it, isn't a tip just, like I said, a kindness that you extend to somebody, right? Somebody's having a bad day. They're mad about something. They were walking down the street. They were waiting for the Uber. They think the Uber's coming. Somebody else comes by. It's raining outside. Splash! And some schmuck hits a big pile of water and soaks their punk behind. Right? The Uber comes up. The Uber driver's got an attitude because you're soaking wet. Right? It gives you a double negative 18x star because Rundra Rider gets in and wet my seat. You know, that kind of crap, right? And for the next 3 weeks, it's a little harder for you to catch an Uber because they're hoping you're not going to sog their car up or some crap like that, right? You're walking down the street, you're running a little bit late, you're walking behind somebody, and the guy or the gal in front of you holds the door. Yay. It's a little kindness that you're extending to somebody else. It's very similar to the tip that you give to the waitress. Everybody knows what the percentage is for just the tip, right? You know what the percentage is. But if you go over and above the percentage, they would have been happy if you just gave the 10%, 20%, whatever the heck it is. I always tip more than that. But whatever it is, 15%. If you just gave that, they would have been cool with it because that's what they were expecting. But if you give them 70%, 100%, if you can do it, you give them a lot more than they were expecting. Oh, yeah. Doesn't mean that much to you because you wouldn't be tipping that much if you couldn't afford it. If you're broke off your behind, the person that brings you pizza ain't getting $10. They're going to get $2 and they know that. I've always tipped when I had the bread. Like, even at this point right now, when I call up the pizza place and the second my phone number pops up, I've called from I had a new cell phone, right? Somebody was at my house using the phone. I had one of my little cousins over. They were using the phone to do some kind of homework crap or whatever it was with one of their friends. And I was like, don't worry about it. I'm going to get y'all some pizza and I'm going to get some pizza so we can all grub up. All right. Okay. Right. I called from my cell phone and the lady picked up the phone. Yeah, this is the pizza shop. Whoever this is, the hell with you. Now order the pizza and shut your punk mouth. I'm like, oh, hey. Oh, it's Anthony. Hey, what's going on, baby? What do you need? Why? Because I'm a pleasant guy. I've gone into the place, and when I went into the place to buy my stuff, I slapped the thing in the tip thing, right? And a lot of times my bill's the only one in there or one of the few in there. So they see my face, they see the tip. Hey, that guy's the kind of guy who's a great guy, and I know his address and I know his phone number. He's a great guy. What a guy. What a great guy, right? Because they do talk to the delivery drivers. Don't think they don't. And I know they talk to the new delivery drivers, right? I was sick in a pizza place one time. They didn't know I was there. It's happened a couple of times. I was watching the TV program. I had already got my food. I said, let me pay for it now. You got change for this. And I put the tip in. Oh, thank you very much, sir. No problem. No problem. I worked in the service industry. I know what it's like. You know, you got to take care of each other. Oh, that's very nice of you. I'm sitting down watching the TV program. One of the delivery drivers comes in and he asked the lady who's, takes the orders over the phone and essentially gives them their assignment. You need to go to this address. You need to go to that place. And this happened to me before, and I talked about it on another podcast. I don't know if it was my other podcast or if I was on someone else's podcast, but I talked about a place where the owner was actually, this is a different place, by the way. I'll get back to the place I was talking about just now. This is an entirely different thing. The owner literally goes, wait a minute, wait, hold up. What's the address? Flop Street? Hell no, they don't get any chips. Because he was throwing on some potato chips as a thank you to customers. Just, we had a lot of potato chips there, and you threw a couple extra bags of chips there. And sometimes if you're a good customer for a long period of time, they'll throw a couple extra bags of potato chips that you didn't order, or they'll throw a 20-ounce soda on there or something like that. Something that's not advertised, but a little extra for a customer. And he was literally, apparently a bunch of his customers that had ordered in a row were regular customers who were good people and all of that kind of crap. So he just basically just throwing the chips on, throwing a soda on, and letting him go about his business. But he heard a specific address, and the address was someone who had been a really bleep towards the drivers, and was also a bleep when the person actually ordered in the store. So the person recognized the address, and he put the chips. Like, hey, hell no, I'm not giving them nothing. They don't even tip. Just take the pizza to it, get it to them as quickly as possible, and then go to some real customers. He gave him the pizza, right? But he didn't give him the chips. Why? Because the person was mean to the driver and didn't tip. Now back to the other one where I was talking about with a lady when I gave the tip and I'm sitting down. So I'm sitting there and the driver walks in. The driver walks in and she goes, yeah, this guy tips good. He does? Oh, he always tips. Oh, cool. And the guy walks bouncing out as the driver walks bouncing out. Oh, I'm going to get $5 today. Right? And so we move back to when I'm ordering from home from my cell phone. And when she recognized my voice, she was nicer. I order another time. Kids are over again. This time I'm ordering from the house phone. The second that she picks up the phone on one ring, hey, Mr. Thomas. Hey, what's going on? I know what you want. Your little cousins are over. You want the large sausage pizza. You want this, that, and the other. You want the this, and the this. Man, I should just call you up and say I want a number one, huh? Okay, it's going to be this amount of money, and that's how much it's going to be at the door, okay? All right, you take care of yourself, love. Click. Right? Now, I know for a fact, the simple fact that she remembered my order that specifically. And it was not, I almost forgot what my damn order was. It was the stuff I was ordering normally. I just hadn't ordered in a couple of weeks. She remembered you know how many people order from that place? She rattled off my order like it was nothing and got everything right. Right? So the driver comes up to the house. Hey, Mr. Thomas. Because I always throw this guy a nice tip because, like I said, I was in the service industry. And technically, as a comedian, I'm still in the service industry. Even though people don't tip comedians, we just get a salary. I mean, if audience members were like, if you do 3 standing ovations for somebody, a genius. You know what I mean? I personally, I think as the comedian is walking off the stage, you understand? I mean, if y'all wanted a hand to do like $5 each, you know what I mean? Because of his double genius. I mean, not the other comedians, just me, F them. I'm talking about me. Moving on. But I thought about it. And because I tipped at the place, and I tipped the driver, they were very, very, very nice to me. Just the tip. And it wouldn't really cost that much money. And I kept asking myself, why does every time I order something from this place, every bag, maybe the potato salad or whatever, the French fries or whatever, it always says SATNS. Why does everything say SATNS on everything I order from that place? I never see it when I'm somebody else's house. Why is that? So one day I go back to the pizza place and I'm talking to the lady. Pizza place is closed, by the way. It doesn't exist anymore. But I'm talking to the lady and I go, okay. can I ask you a question? Sure, love. When I order from you, oh, I love you. You're the sweetest. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. When I get food at my house, the packages always say SATNS on the packages. Why is that? Oh, well, it's because we want everybody to know that it's going to S. Anthony Thomas's house. Okay, that's my name. That's great. And NS is for no spit. Huh? Yeah, everybody that doesn't tip, we like to put a nice big loogie in their food. We actually line up. Look in the back of the kitchen. See how everybody's lined up right there? Yeah, there's a bunch of people lining up and they're kind of tapping the underneath. Why are they doing that nose thing? Why are they all doing that? Oh, they're trying to get some good loogies up because the people that ordered the food right there that's on the table, we're going to line up and we're going to, oh, excuse me, I got to go back there myself. Hold on for a minute. Can you stay for a minute, please, baby? Hey, don't send that food out. I didn't put my loogie on it yet. Hold on. Okay, great. I got to go back to talk to the customer. Yeah, S. Anthony Thomas, the one we don't spit on. Okay, we're going to go back to talk to him. Yeah. So you guys all line up and loogie the pizzas. Yeah, we do. Oh. I mean, if you notice that we only do that on the pizza special because there's so many different sauces and spices and meats on it that you can't even really tell that there's the loogies in it. We can loogie right on top of it, and you can't tell because of the sauces and meats. Well, what do you do when you make like a pizza or something like that where you don't have all the, as you say, sauces and spices and the meats when you want to put that good loogie on the loogie on the food. Oh, we actually stand over the pot while we're making the sauce. See, that pot right there says SATNS is a little pot we make for the sauces for your food. But basically the rest of the people around here don't tip that well. So we basically just bust loogies in their foods. Okay. Yeah. All right. I gotta go. Yeah, you're not going to tell anybody about the loogies. No. Those people deserve the loogies. It's okay, guys. He's with one of us. Yeah, I gotta go. But okay, the part about the loogies did not happen. but don't you, I tip because I want to be cool to the person bringing the food. That's what I do. That's the only reason I do it. I'm not trying to de-loogify my food, okay? But it is kind of smart to make sure that the person who's alone with your food for the 15-minute ride from the restaurant to your house, the person alone with your food is in a good mood and likes you. I'm just saying. So folks, when you go, most of the people we tip, you may be in bad stead the first time because they don't know whether you're going to tip. You should probably walk in. I know one thing. When that cab, hey, I'm on a cab to go to the airport, and is there any way the cab could be here at 6 o'clock? Sure, we can get the cab there at 6 o'clock. Good, because I'm going out of town for the Dude Who Tips Cab Drivers Really Good Championships. Oh, wait, did I say that out loud? I just said that. I didn't say that for any particular reason. Excuse me, I'd like to order my food or that. Sure. Yeah, what are you here for? Yeah, I'm here to celebrate the Dude Who Tips Waitresses Really Good Championship. Oh, so you're that? Yeah. And tell the person in the back that is actually chopping up the salad that could actually hide good loogies. Could you let them know that I also from the dude who tips the person who makes the food championships because, okay, that's not really a thing. What I'm saying is, be nice to the people that touch your food and touch your drinks. Be real nice to them. I got news for you. Next time I go to the doctor, I'm going to have a prostate exam, which basically means my doctor's going to jam her finger up my backside. And I got news for you. Before she goes, Mr. Thomas, I'm going to need you to take your pants down so I can ram my finger in your backside. I'm going to go, before you do that, doc, here's $20. Oh, great. And I'll use the finger without the nail on it. Yeah, that would be nice this time. My doctor does not use the finger with the nail on it. This podcast is getting really weird. Look, folks. All right, we're done here. Look, tip people. It's a good thing to do, okay? Okay? All right. Yo, you better do it, or I'm going to tell on you. See you. Well, you can't say I didn't warn you. Thank you for stopping back, my friends. I will see you again next time. Much love to everybody. See you.